Ever since the last trailer, the Demise theories have been going really strong. I mean, this was a theory ever since the first ever teaser for Breath of the Wild 2. The shadows in this shot looked awfully familiar to Demise and nothing like the Ganondorf we've known so far. Well, with the current reveal of Ganondorf's return, we can see that the figure in the shadows definitely resembles Ganondorf's new look. But then this new shot appeared and a woman who could actually be Hylia herself, and both of these threw another wrench into the theory crafting. So could there really be both Demise and Ganondorf in this game? Or is Ganondorf channeling the prime curse of Demise and actually transforms into Demise? Well, let's take a closer look. But before that, real quick, thank you again so much for all the support. I only started this channel about a month ago and I'm happy for every comment and like. So please consider also leaving a sub. Thank you very much. This ancient mural depicting Ganon is actually really strange if you pay attention. First of all, huge thanks to Noodles, who did leave a great comment under my latest analysis of trailer 3 that you can find in the description. They looked at the mural and saw this human-like character without any weapons standing right next to Ganon. This means we could have another Aghanim/Astor situation in our hand. Great catch. But let's look at what appears to be Ganon here. It really doesn't resemble Ganon a lot. Ganon's primal form is known to have pig-like appearances. This here more closely resembles Ganondorf's normal human/Gerudo form, but is depicted large and with horns. The horns are actually the weirdest part about this. You might think that we would have seen Ganon with horns already, but you are mistaken. There have been husks every time. As I said, he resembles a wild boar with huge tusks, and the human Ganondorf never had tusks or horns. So you gotta ask the question, is this even Ganondorf? If we now take a closer look for the single frame, we see this new character. Yep, he has horns. And he looks way more beastly. Look at the shape and position of his eyes. This doesn't look human at all, and it doesn't look pig-like like Ganon as well. So, you know who this reminds me of? The goat. Thanks to the new flyers in Japan, we can actually see a more sideways angle of him and it becomes undeniable. They are from the same species. These are both Zonai. And both of these characters are depicted in ancient murals from a long time ago. I now truly believe this to not be Ganondorf as we know him today. And I also don't think this is Ganondorf in the past as well. In my opinion, this is a parallel from our Ganondorf in the past. And this woman from the new trailers is a parallel to our own Zelda. Now wait a second. Could this goat be a parallel to our Link? Yes, I truly believe so. But now we have to answer the following question. Is this time travel or a different dimension like Lorule and Termina? I think there's evidence for both, but I want to settle on one, so buckle up. First theory, different dimensions. This would not be the first time for a Zelda game to explore this idea. As I said, Lorule is somewhat of an inverted reality of Hyrule where they abandoned the Triforce, and Termina is just a different dimension altogether where the same people just lived different lives. There aren't any equivalents to the giants and like the fierce deity in our Hyrule, or are they? I mean, the fierce deity could be this land's version of Link, and the four giants could be the equivalent to Din, Nehru, Farore and Hylia, the four goddesses. Now if we tie this back into Tears of the Kingdom, Link, Zelda and Ganondorf seem to have equivalents. The hand that was holding down Ganondorf's corpse could be this goat doing it from another dimension to help seal the evil power coming from Ganondorf. Even the malice could actually be a product of this different dimension because we never actually saw Ganondorf use malice before Breath of the Wild. The ghostly Zelda we see in the second trailer could also just be Zelda speaking to Link from a different dimension. So somehow the two worlds opened up a connection between them and stuff started happening. The second theory is time travel to the past. We know the Zelda franchise does not shy away from time travel in different timelines. We see it in Skyward Sword, Ocarina of Time, Oracle of Ages and even Majora's Mask. There's a way to travel to the past, so that's probably what Zelda could have done. In a time where the old Zonai were still alive and the real evil was this Zonai Ganon. This makes perfect sense as to why there are still Zonai ruins all over Hyrule and why the murals depict an ancient battle. But wait, we know the Zelda timeline, and we never heard of any Zonai or Zonai battle in the past. The beginning of the Zelda timeline is clearly defined to be Hylia versus the first incarnation of evil, Demise. And after that we basically know everything that happens in the timeline. Well, Breath of the Wild did something strange. It set up a large gap between the past timeline and the current timeline. We know of a war that happened 10,000 years ago. The scroll depicts the hero with the rope like Link has in Tears of the Kingdom. But honestly, even though the scroll is highly artistic, this doesn't look like Link at all, does it? The Zelda character has a darker skin. This could be the new character we've seen. And Ganon? Maybe this isn't the Ganon we know from today. This could be the Zonai Ganon. This would mirror the old timeline. We know this is the first evil being, a Demise-like figure that cursed the following generations to repeat the cycle. Wait, the second theory of this being in the past makes perfect sense, but what if the history and the Hyrule we actually play in is a different dimension? I talked about parallels in Lorule and Termina, but we always assumed we would be playing in the OG Zelda timeline. Aonuma has been very hesitant to put Breath of the Wild in the current timeline. As we know currently, he said yeah, it plays at the end of the timeline somewhere. But this makes no sense because Breath of the Wild references every other timeline as well. This couldn't be more clear than in the Zelda memory right here. In the English dub, the mixing of the audio is too different to distinguish what Zelda is actually saying here.
She's making it sound like we already lost.
Wasn't this your idea? You're the one who wanted to designate the appointed night with all the ceremonial pomp, grandeur, and nonsense we could muster.
But in Japanese and other languages like German, you can actually hear what she is saying exactly.
Diese alte Zeremonie dafür nachzuäffen war doch deine eigene Glanzidee. Na ja, meine Meinung.
After the line, whether skyward bound, adrift in time, or steeped in the glowing embers of twilight, she says, Hylia, for the hero that crosses the sea or creates a link to the past, you shall be by his side. So, you could say that this is some kind of time loop, and after so many years the same exact scenario with Ganondorf and the goddess and the Demise-like figure just happened to play out again. But honestly, in my opinion, it makes way more sense that this is a parallel world to our Zelda timeline we know, where things just played out differently. And the Aghanim character from the mural could be a parallel to Girahim, Zonai Demise's sword, because in this clip we see him without his sword. If this wasn't enough parallels to Skyward Sword already, like Zelda going to the past to stop the evil, and gods like Hylia and Demise returning, there's also the fact that we are actually trying to forge back the true Master Sword like we did in Skyward Sword as well. But that's just the... you know the text already. Thank you so much for watching. I hope I could give you a clearer picture of the story and who this mysterious character actually is. If you enjoyed it, there will be more videos after the ending here, with one of them being the analysis of course. So please leave a like, leave a comment and subscribe for Nier. Thank you very much.